Yeah.
So there's that. And then I think I might have mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it in the previous episodes, but I had bought a new house.
Is this
The lake house. Yes.
The lake house. I
the
love
lake
it.
house, which also was plagued with issues on closing. 2 days before I closed on the lake house, I can't remember if we did, so I'll do a quick recap. 2 days before we closed on it, or I closed on it, there was a water issue in the lake that I was buying on, blue-green algae.
Oh, yeah. Grand Lake. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the bank didn't like that because I was drawing my well. I didn't have a well. I was drawing the water
that makes
from
sense.
the lake.
Yeah.
So their condition on closing was within 6 months, I have to get a drilled well. So that's come to find out. I know, yes, you can physically drill the well for $7,000. By the time you put in the systems, draw the lines into the house, do the whole works, $17,000.
Yeah, I was going to say around 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's
Better than algae. Neil starts going to work with a green tongue.
Everyone that lives there doesn't give a crap. Like they're like, it's not that bad. It's not in the water. Like it was in one hyper focused spot at the end of a stream.
Well, also in theory, if you already had a treatment system on your well water, you could blast that out of there, but with a UV light or something. But
to then double down on this place, I go to build an addition on the side of it, and it's close to my septic. So we're taking around the septic, just taking a peek. I had the septic inspected. I was going to waive it, and I was like, no, we should have it inspected. It did show up with a couple little issues. There's a few branches that were broken that were supposed to get replaced. I was going to do it when I got to it. It's $3,000 or something. Then the new excavator guy comes in to start working on it, and he's also knows septics. Pulls off the top layer of dirt off the septic. I wasn't there. I was in the States. Apparently the septic's dead.
it's bubbling up. So if septic field, if people aren't familiar with the septic field, you've got your tank, right? So your septic system has the tank that stores your solids, right? All the crap you flush down the toilet, literally. And then all your liquid effluent goes up over a baffle, and then that leaches out through one pipe that then often goes to a T pipe that goes perpendicular and is all perforated, and then that goes out into nature, into dirt. And when you build, that's your actual field. And when they build those sediments up, if you have like an engineered new septic field, it's all in these specialized layers to allow the effluent to leach out into the ground and not harm anything. When your field goes, it becomes saturated, so it no longer performs that. It holds the water. So probably he scraped that off and basically hit liquid. Hit sludge.
Yeah. Well, actually, the ground was absorbing really well. It's just like a ton of the pipes are broken.
Okay.
And really the only reason it was working, he said, is the ground was doing such a good job of absorbing the fluid. He said if anywhere else, he's like, this would have been literally your backyard would have been full of crap.
Right. But he had to dig up the pipe.
Well, he said at some point.
You're trashing the system. Yeah.
Yeah, the pipes were all broken. Everything was so. Anyways, that's an extra $20,000 too.
Yeah.
So a couple little double downs.
18 to 22 right now.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's what it was. 18,000. So 35,000 on those two items. And it takes 4 weeks to get a permit because I had to get an engineered system. But you know what? It was kind of good because I intend to probably sell the property and I am adding 3 more bathrooms to the house. Mm-hmm. And realistically, that old system could not handle that many bathrooms.
Well, it's funny because they base your system engineering on your number of bedrooms, which is hilarious. So if you have a system that's set up for 3 bedrooms, you can have 8 bathrooms and all that matters is the 3 bedrooms. It's really strange.
You sure still about that?
As last time I pulled a permit for them, yeah.
Okay, because when I was selling a house and it was actually a fixture count. They did a toilet fixture amount of
Really?
Yes. And when I redid the application, I didn't do the whole permit, but the engineering company is able. They messaged me with some questions. That's what they asked is how many full baths and half baths.
No way.
I don't even think they asked me about bedrooms because I did add bedrooms as well.
It used to always be strictly bedrooms. I'll have to look into that. I mean, the logic is the more bedrooms, the more people that live there.
Actually,
in theory, the bathrooms don't matter. Like, just because you have 8 bathrooms doesn't mean you're taking 8 times as many poops in the course of your day.
True enough.
So they do it on bedrooms, but even that is far from a perfect model. But
exactly. Regardless, I added 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So I added all that stuff onto the application. So now the system actually handles what the house has. And if I go to sell, it's going to be much nicer to say I have a brand new engineered system.
And the difference between getting a large one and a smaller one, it's negligible. Right?
Exactly.
You're in there digging in. Yeah.
So that finally came through last Thursday or Friday. So Monday they were all out there. The system took them a day or 2 to install it. But yeah, system's in now. So now I can pour concrete for the addition. Because once I poured the concrete, we couldn't get the full-size excavator in the backyard. Mm-hmm. Good luck to the next person that has to do the septic. But yeah, anyway, so that's exciting. That place I bought, I was with the dream of having 1 weekend there before snow flew. Mm-hmm. Not happening. But if I get it weather tight now before the time snow flies, I'll be very happy.
It does look really nice, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It is a nice spot. Once it's all done, I definitely have some get-togethers. We'll bring out one lucky podcast listener.
Oh, wow. And make them feel super awkward while they share this lake cottage with the two of us.
Yeah.
How many square feet?
Right when I bought it, it's considered like 1,800. Once the addition, everything's done, it'll be 3,000 once it's done.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big place.
Yeah.
Neal referred to it as his cottage when I messaged him about it the other day. So
I just say, like, I'm not going to live there.
yeah.
So it's half an hour from the city. So I don't feel comfortable making the continuous journey.
People in other parts of the world
gonna
or
think I'm
country are gonna be
insane.
like, 30 minutes to the lake house. And he's like, it's a little bit long for that daily commute.
We're spoiled in
Yeah,
Halifax.
we really are.
I've never left for a showing more than 20 minutes in advance, and I've like never been late.
And if you go 20 minutes in any direction, you hit water pretty much.
Yeah.
In Dartmouth, you trip over a lake everywhere you go. Out that direction, there's a bunch of lakes as well.
Ocean,
Yeah.
like it's nuts. But
It's why this area was always very undervalued. The original person who bought that home would probably have paid what? Like, how old's that home?
like 50, 60 years old, if not
Oh,
more.
my God.
50
So,
probably.
50 grand maybe? Once upon a
Probably.
time?
Oh yeah. I won't say the name, but I have someone who works with me and for me on some projects. And he said he did some work for a builder developer in Grand Lake 20 years ago. And for his work that was done, the builder offered him 3 or 4 lakefront lots,
Oh, my gosh.
which were selling for like $5,000 a piece for like a 20K bill. Or maybe I want to say $2,000 a piece, but that might be too low. I think it was $5,000 a piece. A lot came up in Grand Lake there about a month ago for $400K, sold in like 3 days.
Yeah.
And he's like, I took my $20,000. I thought I was smarter than that. And he's like, I look back on it like, that would have been $1.6 million.
Yeah, waterfront this year especially has been crazy. But it was a long-held secret. There were years where this stuff was undervalued. So why has Halifax had this big lift in the last 20 months? Yeah, there's all the extraordinary circumstances of COVID and interest rates and all this. But a big part of it was that we were always just really, really underpriced.
Way down. So
Yeah. That's exciting, man.
the only good news on the flip side of all this, oil and gas going to the moon. So I'm making it back on that end of things.
Attaboy. Okay,
Yeah,
good
so
for you.
I feel better about it.
Are you going to short-term rent it at all, or what are you going to do with it for the other 5 days a week?
So I've started because I got a little carried away with the reno. I'm like, do I want to put this on Airbnb?
Right.
I think I might contact one of these executive companies and offer it as for a minimum
Seasonal.
3 or a 5 day at a very high rate with a lot of insurance. I am putting a basement apartment in there. So the basement apartment, I'm debating doing a long-term rental or just running that on Airbnb and see how that goes. But like the two things for me is, again, where I've kind of gone crazy with the finishes because it's my own personal place. I don't really want to just go in there and have all the cabinets nicked and the trim banged up. And then on the other end of it, it's like, I'm not going to be there. So the investor in me can't help but not have income.
It is tricky, right? And you'd have to furnish it. You're going to furnish it either way, but you're going to put nice stuff in there, and then you got people in your nice furniture. It's just,
I'm going to end up just Airbnb-ing the whole thing and never going out myself. It's just going to turn into a rental property.
it's on the MLS on Monday.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's exciting. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
When I was broke, I had rich habits.